When Yessica Rodriguez was getting ready for work one day, her husband made an unusual announcement regarding their cat. Confused, Rodriguez then went to see what her partner was talking about. And that's when she realized that her pet had brought home a companion. Rodriguez lives in the city of Altamira in Mexico. There, she also shares her home with a cat named Blanes. Rodriguez had adopted the feline in December 2017 after having found her abandoned. And at the time of her rescue, Blanes was just a kitten. In fact, she was so undeveloped that she hadn't even opened her eyes yet. With that in mind, the baby cat's chances of surviving alone on the streets were slim. You see, in an ideal world, kittens should stay with their moms for at least 4 weeks. During this time, cat babies rely on their mothers for milk and warmth. They also require stimulation from their female parents to help them pass their waist. And as kittens usually open their eyes before they're 10 days old, it went without saying that Blanes was far too young to be away from her mother when Rodriguez found her. But luckily, the small cat had found herself in good hands. Yes, Rodriguez brought Blanes into her home and acted as her surrogate parent. She raised the cat until the animal was big and strong, in fact. And if an incident from August 2018 is anything to go by, it seems as though Rodriguez's kind nature has rubbed off on the kitten. On one day that month, Rodriguez was getting ready for work. Then her husband shouted out to her. He'd stumbled upon an unusual sight, and he was so taken aback with what was in front of him that he wanted his wife to witness the scene in person. Recalling her encounter to her husband, Rodriguez told the Dodo in August 2018, he said, "You have to come down here." However, unable to keep the secret in, her partner blurted out, "Your kitten has an animal on her back." With her curiosity well and truly piqued, Rodriguez then darted down the stairs to see what her husband had meant. And indeed, he had not been lying. Somehow, Blanes had picked up a passenger during her daily travels. The hitchhiker in question was a tiny possum, and the baby marsupial was riding along on Blanes's back as if the feline were a bus. Perhaps then, Rodriguez didn't quite believe what she was seeing. Possums are found throughout the Americas, and much like cats, young joeys rely on their mothers after they're born. For at least the first 70 days of their lives, in fact, a possum feeds in its mom's pouch, and the animal only ventures out of the pocket when it's fully weaned. But there was no way of telling how old the joey Blanes had found was, and it was clear that the young possum had somewhat of a bond with the cat. And luckily for the animal, Blanes was more than happy to step into the joey's absent mother's shoes. Indeed, it appeared that Blanes had found the abandoned joey and taken pity on it, much in the same way as Rodriguez had saved her. Soon after, the cat had seemingly allowed the possum to clamber onto its back so she could take the other creature home to Rodriguez. Furthermore, the way in which Blanes was carrying the joey was not unlike how possum moms carry their babies in the wild. "I know that this is how their mother transports them," Rodriguez revealed to the Dodo. "Blanes brought him to me." A possum only moves onto its mom's back when it has outgrown her pouch. However, as a joey continues to increase in size, it competes for space with its siblings. Then, ultimately, each baby is pushed off their mother one by one. After that, a young possum is forced to fend for itself, whether it's ready to do so or not. Now that Blanes had brought the joey home, though, Rodriguez was eager to do all she could for the new arrival. As a consequence, then, she contacted a wildlife expert who told her how she could care for the critter until someone more experienced could take over. But while Rodriguez took over the care of the possum from Blanes, the cat was never far away. In fact, the feline treated the baby as if it were her own. "Blanes licks at the joey as if it's nothing," Rodriguez explained. "It's very emotional seeing her loving other animals." However, like all good things, Blanes and the possum's relationship will eventually come to an end. That's because Rodriguez doesn't intend on keeping the joey. Instead, she just hopes to provide the creature with temporary shelter until it's strong enough to go its own way. Still, in the meantime, the cat owner was thrilled to see Blanes turn from the rescued into the rescuer. It was almost as if the once abandoned feline had taken Rodriguez's good deed and paid it forward to another animal. And her human couldn't have been more proud. Speaking of the unique turn of events, Rodriguez said, "It feels to me like a token of appreciation. It's very tender." Gushing over her precious cat, she added, "We love Blanes very much. She's very special."